You are listening to the It's Your Time podcast, and I'm your host, certified life coach Michelle Arnold Berg. In today's Women's Health Series episode, I'm discussing Menopause Essentials, what every busy professional woman should know.
Welcome to the It's Your Time podcast, the podcast where busy professionals like you get the practical solutions and support you need to gain control of your schedule so you can strive to be the best in your career, but without the stress and overwhelm. If you're looking to increase your energy and decrease your stress, you are in the right place.
Hello. Welcome back to the podcast, friends. Here we are, the third episode of our 4-part series on women's health. And today I want to talk to you about some of the essential pieces of information that you should know around the menopause transition. Now, let me start by setting a couple of foundational elements here. First, every human is different. So as I talk, as I do with every episode I share with you here, I want you to take what works for you and leave what doesn't. This is not a you should do it this way conversation. It's a sharing of knowledge, and then you incorporate in your life in a way that works for you. And the second thing is, when we talk about transition, as humans, right? We are all transitioning. So this is not some crazy condition that we as women experience. It is a season of life where things might be changing. Things that used to work might not be the best option for us right now. And that is not a problem. I think for so long, people just haven't talked about menopause. And more recently, there are some doctors that are coming out, sharing some information, celebrities that are raising awareness, and we get to normalize all of it. And I will be honest, I have learned so much in just this past year, and I know there is still so much more that I need to learn. So today, I want to just dive into some of the foundations in an effort to empower you to know more about your health and how you can embrace the transition for you. So let's start by defining what menopause is, because honestly, this was one of the things that I gained clarity on this year. The basics, friends, okay? Baby steps. And let me just take a caveat here, because it's not just about what I may or may not know. A lot of our doctors don't even know this information. Most do not even have specific training in menopause, and I'm talking OBGYN docs. In fact, the PA that works with my physician, she has me listed as post-menopausal, and I am peri. It is mind-boggling to me, because that does make a difference, right? It's not just about like, oh, do I sound old if I'm post? It's not that at all. I recently had to go in for a minor procedure where the lady assumed that I was postmenopausal because that's what the doctor has listed. And so that then changes like simple things as such as a pregnancy test. Well, I guess simple might not really be a great adjective to use for a pregnancy test, but you get the idea, right? It changes the paperwork that I need to be signing when I'm going under anesthesia for sure. And it is mind-boggling to me that it is a provider in women's health and many providers in women's health that just do not have the training. And quite honestly, these years here can be some of the longest years in our lives, right? Both maybe literally and figuratively. And the other thing is the menopause population, it is one of the highest growing numbers of folks out there. So we need to be the ones to take control, which I know you and I enjoy being the ones in control many times, right? So let's talk about a couple of ground rules here, because again, I want to emphasize that every person is different and there are variances in the ages of each section that I'm going to be talking about when I'm going through the definition of the menopause transition. So I'm not going to put on too many numbers because it really depends on your circumstances. So let's begin with reproductive age, right? That is considered pre-menopause. Pretty straightforward, right? It's kind of what everybody talks about once you start getting your period and then you are having babies. We get that. That's a lot of research that we see is around women in pregnancy, right? Not so much women in menopause. So then the second stage is perimenopause, and this can last several years. This is when reproductive hormones start fluctuating downward, and you might notice like disruptions in your menstrual cycle. And this stage has gradual changes. And even within perimenopause, there is an early and a late stage. So your cycle might be off, You might get some hot flashes, maybe night sweats, mood swings, difficulty sleeping, joint pain. In fact, many women experience frozen shoulder. So if you have shoulder pain and you don't really recall doing anything that has caused it, it might be this, my friend. Maybe even things like heart palpitations, maybe changes in energy levels. So what I want you to know here is yes, there is unpredictability, and it would be great to give yourself some grace as the fluctuations occur and start paying attention to what feels good from a food standpoint, what feels good from a movement standpoint. Start tuning in to what you are feeling. And it's okay to have a plan A and a plan B on a daily basis. I think most of you know that my sleep is a bit off, to say the least, some might add. And mood swings, well, I guess Mark might have an answer for that. And I know he freaking likes to wake me up in the middle of the night to inform me how much I'm sweating. I'm like, dude, I was sleeping. I wasn't being bothered by it, right? Thanks for the update, though. Now, menopause, again, learn this at the ripe age of 50. Menopause is marked by the final menstrual period and signals the end of reproductive capabilities. And you might not know what that final period is as it's happening. So menopause is officially confirmed once you've gone 12 months without period. And this marks the end of perimenopause. Some research says that the median age for menopause is around 48 to 52, but it really does depend on a number of things like genetics, physiological, and lifestyle factors. So don't be stuck to the numbers. Pay attention to what's going on in your body. And now post-menopause is everything after menopause until the end of life. Side note, the menopause years are not the end of life. We can thrive in these years. It's a choice. And there are still changes that can be happening postmenopausal. So I'm taking the mindset that we will learn, evolve, and continue to do what we need to do to embrace each day in a way that works for us. Here's the thing. This transition is, yes, about hormones, but it's also about how said changes in hormones affect your reproductive system, things like your pelvic floor health. Again, this year, I think, was probably the first time that I'm really hearing more and more about pelvic floor health and how to help enhance that. And of course, breast health. And especially here we are in October, right? Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Again, we need to be the ones to take control, empower ourselves, and do what needs to be done for our health. I will tell you, speaking of breast health, I even look around at my job, for example, right? And women need to step into knowing what's going on around our bodies. Even within my job, there are different companies, obviously, that make different systems for pain patients. Not all companies are created equal. And one company, in fact, does not allow Superman position for MRIs. By the way, MRI is a gold standard for diagnosing women with breast cancer. And there are many doctors that are not aware of that information. And there are many women patients that are not aware who have this implanted in them that they are not going to be able to have this MRI. So it is not just women's health specific to OBGYN, right? It is our overall health as a human being that I really want us to be advocates for ourselves with. So in addition to the reproductive health, we also will be looking at central and peripheral nervous system, things like cognition and mood, and not only mood swings, also things like brain fog, anxiety, sleep and circadian rhythms, migraines and headaches, your cardiovascular system, things like blood pressure, lung function, vasomotor symptoms, your metabolism and body composition, things like your energy levels, bone density, and your GI system, like changes in your gut microbiome. Yes, menopause and aging is, in fact, a full body experience. It is just not me ranting about the importance of us taking control and knowing what is going on. These are the years that we do want to really be able to step into figuring out what is going on. I know, fun times, right? Gone are the days when I used to just be able to sit there and eat all my nachos and have all my margaritas and feel fine. Things are changing, and that's okay. We are all meant to evolve. Listen, I do want us to have some fun with this information. It has been so taboo for so long, and there has been such little research done around it. So, if we can start talking about it, having conversations, raising awareness, not only for ourselves, but to help others, I am all for that. The more I know what I don't know, and the more I know what our doctors don't know, the more I want to really embrace figuring it out right with you here as we go. So, as I learn, I will continue to share. We do not need to think that we are going crazy. I mean, listen, I'm already known as crazy Aunt Michelle. That was way before any perimenopause. I will assure you of that. There is plenty that we can do for ourselves in a way that is nurturing and kind. We can look at nutrition. We can make sure that we are getting protein and creatine and hydrating. We can look at exercise, making sure that we are lifting weights. Maybe some days it means we are going for a walk. Maybe it is yoga, but we are doing things that move our body in a way that we enjoy. Pay attention also. This is me, kind of do as I say, not as I do sometimes, full transparency, but let's pay attention to our sleep hygiene and keeping consistent time to go to bed, which, by the way, I will say I am pretty consistent in going to bed. It is my staying asleep for an extended period of time that I am working on. And we also can look at things like our stress management, right? Things like breath work, meditation, maybe some mindful journaling. I have talked about all of these in previous episodes. You can go back and listen, and I will be talking more about them as we continue down this path. And I'm going to go into more of all of it, how perimenopause, menopause, how it all affects our different systems in more detailed episodes in the future, and different ways that we can approach all of the changes. Today, I just wanted to get the conversation started, get some foundational essentials out there in a streamlined way, maybe add a bit of practical advice, and really just having the intention to have more of us start paying attention to what is going on in our bodies. So often, we have been socialized to look to external factors for validation, for telling us what we should do, what we shouldn't do. And I want us to make that shift and start looking internally. Start looking at what is it that you need and how can you start taking actions in a way that works for you? Because the more we know, the more we can decide what it is that we want to do next. And that's my goal for you, to feel more empowered in your life, to do the season of life that you are in, whatever that looks like, right? We are all in different seasons of life. Do it in a way that works for you. That is the most important thing. That is where the magic is. Okay, friends, as always, feel free to connect with me on the socials at Michelle Burke Coaching. I would love to know your questions. I would love to know if there's certain things that maybe you listened to today and thought, what is she talking about? I need to know more about that. Please reach out. I want to share this information. I want us to have a community of conversation, making sure that we are moving forward on the path to whatever that evolution looks like for you. Okay, that's what I have for you today. Let's meet back next week. But for now, make it a great day. Take care.
Did you know you can take this work to a deeper level with me one-on-one? Go to michelleburkecoaching.com and click on Get Started to begin.